Hi, I'm Josh Wills, and I'm the technical lead of our Apple practice here at CDW. I'm joined today by...
Hi everybody, I'm Kyle Davis. I'm the Head of Solutions at CDW.
Hi, I'm Mike Callett. I'm Head of Service Architecture and Design at CDW.
Hi, I'm Daniel Dance, and I work as a Solutions Architect at CDW.
So we've come today just to talk about some of the announcements of the recent WWDC, which is actually the 33rd one ever, so it's been going on for quite a while now. So going to go through a few sections on what was covered, and what really interested to find out what you guys thought about the recent announcements, really. So we'll jump straight in with iOS and iPadOS, and just really want to go and see what your favourite features announced.
For me personally, live text and translation.
Okay, or on video now as
yes,
well, right?
Yeah, because the key thing there for me is that if you are struggling having a conversation or communication with someone, then you now have a way of doing that without having to download third-party software and things to do that. So it's integrated into the platform. Be interesting to see what comes later down the line. Yeah. So once that is then doing that, how is it then going to transcribe it? Is it going to do auto messaging out and things else to other people? If you've got people on FaceTime in the future and you've got multiple languages, is it going to then allow it to translate between multiple languages at the same time?
Because that's about transcribing. You can actually now switch between voice and then typing at the same time without even having to jump out of it as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so I think looking forward to see where that goes, definitely from my perspective.
And there's that live text API, isn't it, like you were saying, so it could go anywhere.
Into all sorts of different apps now, the developers have access to it, yeah. How about yourself, Mike?
I'm really excited about the new multitasking features in iOS because it really makes the iPad a device that a user can use as their full-time device, plug into a screen, and you get true multitasking capabilities like you do on a Mac. I think that's going to be a game changer for a lot of our users.
Because you can change the resolution now, right?
You can change the resolution. You can. It's no longer just a screen mirror. It's a full desktop extend. And like I say, with the multitasking, you get proper windowed apps that you can switch through as if you were on Mac OS. Which, like I say, game changer.
I think for someone like myself who travels quite a bit, having the capability just to have my iPad to do all that and have that small form factor for the in and out of meetings and desktop extend and everything else now, it's going to be pretty powerful rather than me having to carry around a full Mac for what essentially would be a single presentation or a meeting that I just want to make notes on. So I can get my Apple Pencil out and away that.
I was just going to say you can switch between using the Apple Pencil, the keyboard, touch, all in one device.
And now with the iPad Air having M1 in as well, it's a really accessible device that's actually got the same power as a Mac.
Yeah, I think on that, right, we'll touch a bit later on around the M2 release. I think that's the bit I'm probably most excited about.
About what the future holds for these mobile devices.
For me, I think one of the most exciting things I saw from WWDC was around the focus filters. The ability to, depending on what your focus state is on your device, it can have it so that you've got access to just the calendar, the emails, the websites, and the applications that you need for that particular focus setting, which is really cool. So it's a great quality of life kind of service that Apple have built into the ecosystem now.
Yeah. So thinking about, you kind of touch on the next question, Dan, is thinking across all of these platforms, particularly focus on particularly iOS and iPadOS, what do you think is the best thing that's going to drive experience for end users?
I think one of the things that from iPadOS especially, is around that kind of stage manager piece. I think that's going to be so cool for the end user experience, the ability to have an application now using up to 16 gigabytes of memory. That's going to be huge.
You can do memory swap now as well. So like the Macs have been doing, you can actually use the storage of the device for these memory intensive apps, which wasn't available before.
It's going to be so powerful, and obviously having with the stage manager piece, the ability to just focus on one app, also have all the other apps kind of there, stage left, which is just awesome. And of course you can group them together as well, so you can have a couple of apps open at the same time. It's just really, really powerful. I think great for productivity.
True multitasking, right? That's the key thing. Rather than swiping right, left, and moving between different displays, so you actually can now put it all in one view.
It's really quite amazing, and maybe I'm showing my age here a little bit, but just how quick the onboard memory is, the storage is, and that they can actually use it as swap space, as RAM memory essentially. It's really quite incredible.
So one of my favourite features of iPadOS, and I guess across the ecosystem really, was the new Freeform app. Thinking about how we collaborate together, I thought this was a really cool way of a digital whiteboard.
I think with everything that happened with the pandemic, I think finding better ways to collaborate and communicate and to engage with each other was a high priority. Mm-hmm. And I think seeing this now brought into into the consumer and enterprise space with what Apple are offering here on Freeform allows people to kind of just brainstorm, pull things together and do all this. Now my view on that, if we take it a bit further forward, is how does that then in the future integrate with the likes of WebEx and the other collaboration tool sets, so it isn't just isolated on its own. Mm-hmm. But as a consumer grade product, and also as a business entity where we can go and use that to bring people together in a community, for example, if we think about NHS, CCG workers, community workers, midwifery, all that kind of stuff, it's quite a powerful thing there to go completely paperless using that, and filling in the forms as a collaborative group with a remote GP, for example. So I think there's a lot of use cases that could be
come out of it as it kind of like people start to explore it.
One of the things that I really like about Apple's implementation is the fact that it's so easy just to, go from a FaceTime call or an audio call to escalate into a board like that, as opposed to having to arrange a formal meeting, set up a conference call or something like that. If you need a quick access to some sort of board, you can do it right from iOS on the Mac.
Because even had you could jump into kind of like those Safari links as well, right? So you could always be sharing the same tabs, looking at the same stuff, and like keeps it and it's just so quick and easy to do.
Quick and easy to do for me is the is the key. Like I say, rather than having to escalate to a formal Teams meeting or a WebEx meeting, although integration eventually with those things will be important, just the ready and quick access to it again, really powerful.
Dynamic, flexible collaboration. That's what it's about, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So one thing we've not talked about yet is a wallet and Apple Pay. What kind of things do you think were stand out to you in the new features that have been added there?
I think specifically for us and our relationships with the hospitality sector, the wallet and the keys is going to be pretty powerful. When we think about getting access to a hotel room, for example, and doing it through your iOS device without the need for a card, a physical card. It's pretty exciting for our hospitality customers.
I think going on from that, though, I think like extending from wallet into the Apple Pay announcements, where we can now get stage payment approaches. I think if we think about this in traditional red brick retail, not every retailer offers credit. Right. So if we, as a consumer, can now get credit via our device as we're buying in store using Apple Pay,
our preferred retailer of choice.
Exactly. Rather than it being dictated that we must use an alternative credit platform. There's many out there that are now available, but if this is natively on your device, it gives so much flexibility. And if you're a small business that hasn't got the knowledge, the capability to bring that kind of credit profile into your organisation, to do the credit checks, to go away and make sure that people can afford the payment plans, who's going to manage bad debt, all those kind of things. It'll be interesting to see how Apple manage that as part of the Apple Pay announcement.
And it is supported for any Apple Pay service, right, at the moment. Is it in the US only?
I honestly don't know. We'll soon find out, right? I think if we take Apple Pay and the Apple Card as an example, it was announced previously. We're still waiting for that in the UK, right? And I know as Apple fanboys like we are, it's like kind of like we desperately want it, but at some point it will make its way over here. But as always, right, it's going to be US first, and then it'll get rebranded out across everywhere else.
But from a developer's perspective, being able to use those same APIs to call the Apple Pay service, and it's just sort of built in, means that there's no development overhead from a technical standpoint and a business process perspective either.
We saw the big announcement. It was pre-WWDC. It was the start of the year about tap to pay. Obviously, they revisited it in this keynote. Like that, essentially, particularly for our retail customers, enables that one device to now become the payment terminal as well. And again, I know it's Stripe and Adyen first in the US, and they announced a few more people are going to be taking that on board. But that's huge because then you've got less devices to support in that retail space, for less things to go wrong in essence.
And if you think of it as like an outsource model in that way, right? It's less things for you to pay for skilled resource to maintain and look after. Now the downside is that Apple decide to change it and remove it, and you've got to change your entire business model, right? Because you're relying on that single ecosystem. But I think for people that don't have those capabilities, it's going to be a game changer for them.
Yeah.
I also like the ability within Apple Pay now to do the order tracking, so you'll be able to see your orders when they come in, that kind of thing. It all kind of looks like it's being built in, which is just going to be awesome. So you can track your orders straight from the app.
And it means that developers who are developing these apps don't have to leverage multiple different services to provide push text messages and all that sort of stuff, and reduces the burden for those engineers and those development teams to to streamline.
It's really interesting what you just said there, because it kind of ties in with another feature that was mentioned, wasn't it, about the live notifications. So maybe when you get your order tracking, you get the live notification, it'll say, it's on its way, but if you don't look at it before it's been updated, you won't see that, and it'll just get the actual live update itself now on the home screen kind of thing.
Been delivered.
Yeah, exactly. It's waiting for you kind of thing at the depot, or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
The selfie of the delivery driver with your
Parcel left in safe place. It's the doorstep. And thinking about, you mentioned the lock screen there. We didn't touch on that, but obviously we've now kind of like got that ability to edit the lock screen a little bit like we've been able to do with the Apple Watch for a while. Can you see that kind of having a benefit to people's efficiencies?
I think you can, because it ties in with focus, doesn't it? So you can have different kind of lock screen views and widgets and stuff based on the focus mode that you're in. So if you're in a work focus mode, then you can have it focusing on your work related tasks. If you're at home or on the weekend or whatever, you can have it focused on your more family or personal life kind of matters. So I think it can be good for productivity for sure.
I think the key thing for me is that Apple is a very big advocate of employee choice. Right, so this is just extending that employee choice to work in the way that best suits you. Right, so we've been screaming and shouting for customization and personalization of the lock screen and things for years, and it's now here. So it'll be interesting to see, again, what comes in the future with it, but then also how, as an enterprise partner and the mobile device management technologies that overlay it, what policies we get to control that, so that as a bring your own device policy or a corporate device management platform, you can sit there and go, right, during the week I need HR, finance, whether they're to have this view and focus on the lock screen, but then as soon as the weekend comes or after 5 p.m, it can then change to be more customised to their personal experience. So in that way, the business you work for can give you that quick information that they want you to see as well. So I suppose it's another form factor of engagement, right?
And from an MDM perspective, if you could change that quite quickly and easily, depending on what the business priorities are at that point in time, you might actually alter someone's focus, so you can go, actually, we're all gathered around kind of this priority right now, and it shifts to give you that view. Interesting.
Even as like a safeguarding idea as well, right? If you're in the city and there's something that's dangerous going on, there's a tube strike or anything like that, then your employer could actually push that information out to you because you may not be aware of it.
Completely take over the lock screen, like with that, emergency alert kind of.
Please don't leave the office. There's a situation happening, all that kind of stuff.
Interesting.
And actually, another theme throughout all of WWDC really was around there's an API being developed for lock screen, isn't there? So it's only going to get more powerful in the future.
More dark skins and various things for me to put on there, so I can change all the logos and customise everything. That'd be fantastic.
But it just allow the app developers to put better branding into the notifications, which, if you think about the heritage of the iOS applications, they look very different, right? The way in which the apps are created, and being able to extend that out to the lock screen just further helps enhance the brand and the image that these application developers want to portray.
That is important, because I feel like you get the core set of apps that work for you, and you kind of like want that to be visible in different places, and now that's kind of like available with those API links in.